Hello and welcome back. We had a bit of a disaster the other day. We've got a Philips rice cooker, and this is apart at the moment. We discovered that it's not a wise thing to leave the pot out because we accidentally put water and quinoa into the main housing, and it flowed all the way through down into the electrical components and all the major components within the body. We very quickly realised what had happened and switched it off. And if you look at the pictures that are on the screen at the moment, you will see the mess that it made. And to be honest with you, it took quite a lot of time for me to work out how to pull this thing apart, and I'm going to show you how to put it back together. So while I'm putting it back together, I'll tell you how I actually pulled it apart. First off, the first lesson: do not ever put water and any rice or quinoa or anything in the main body without the actual pan itself. Before we get into the actual putting this together, I want to talk about how to clean it up, because what happened was that the quinoa with the water, it became a sticky mess. And that's the reason why I had to dismantle it, because there was only one way to clean everything up. And the other secret weapon to cleaning it up is this, the Ryobi air blower. And seriously, this little machine was perfect for a problem like this. It was able to blow air into the nooks and crannies and get everything out. So I would highly recommend that this blower for any sort of job like this. So now getting back to this. So we've got the main housing itself, and this is where the pan itself, or the container that holds the rice or the quinoa or whatever, goes in the top there. And you've got the lid, and underneath here we have what I assume is some sort of a heating element. Now, this is the thing. Two observations. Inside, which I'll show you a picture of right now, here, when this is assembled, it looks like it's fully closed off, but it's not. If you are looking at inside the bowl, down the top there, at the top here, what you can't see is underside. It sits inside here, but it sits above the bottom of this, and as a result, the quinoa can actually flow down through here and down into the body and into the body here. Okay? And that's what necessitated having to pull it apart. Now, it's not that difficult. It's really just a matter of undoing a few cables. Very important lesson here. Make sure that you take pictures of where all the cables go, so that when you're putting it back together, like what I'm about to do now, you know what you're doing. So the first order of business is that this goes here. There's a little tang that goes in here, and there's two screws. There's one there and there's one there. Okay. Okay. So the next step is to actually put this inside here. And where these red rubber flanges, they come through here. And what you'll notice, there are two little spigots on the outer, this ring here. I'll just show you that. These spigots, they actually line up with these two holes here. And there we go. And that just literally sits on top of this spring-loaded section here. Going by the iPad, this blue wire goes there. Okay, so what we'll do, put a little screw in there. So that one's done. Now, this is the interesting thing. These two red wires actually go onto here. Yep, red and red. Yep. So they go two together. Right. So these yellow wires here, they all join up together and come into the body itself. We'll come back to that. Okay, so the next step is that we've got two little screws left, and the plate that is where this is attached to. And you remember we have these little holes, this little sprockets come through here. There's a hole there and there's a hole there, and that's where these screws go. We'll put one in. They now hold the plate. Now this is the important, before I tighten it up, this is the important thing. This other screw here, this little screw here, you take all of these earth cables, actually go into that screw right there. Now I just remembered, and this is where it gets a bit tricky. So in the housing itself, there is another earth cable, and that is supposed to join up with them. And so before I can actually put this in, I've got to set this up in such a way so that I can get them on there, ready for the final assembly. So we'll do that right now. So this is really important. There are three prongs here. You've got these three prongs here, 1, 2, and 3. The rear one is the earth. That is this cable here. That goes there. And see these two blue cables? See these two cables here, the red and the blue. Right, the blue goes here and the red goes there. But we don't put them on until the very last thing. So in essence, what we have to do is put these together over here on the housing. We then connect this onto that, and then finally we push these, we bring this around and put these on, so we can then bring this together like that. So what I'm going to do now is put these earth connections all together. And you do it so it's nice and tight. So they're all connected now. So this is the final bit of the wiring, and this is important. You've got to get it right. So I'm going to refer to my iPad, and we've got, as I pointed out, we have 3 prongs here. And this is where it gets hard. So looking in there now, you'll see how all of the cables are connected up, all 3 of them, the yellow, the red and the blue. So all that's left now is to bring the housing onto the main frame. So what you do, you lift this whole thing up, bring it around, and make sure all the cabling in the front here, it all just sort of slots in. There are little clamps here which clip underneath the rim. So this is metal, and it's rounded over, and there's a little ledge under there, and these clamps, little clips here, clip into it, and that's the secret to pulling it apart. When I first looked at it, I thought that you took it apart here, but you don't. You use little plastic things, stretch this out to get it over the top of the clip, and away you go. Once you put it together, it just clips in. The other thing that's important, this cutout section has to be, it's a bit hard to explain, but you'll see when you go to put it together, you have to put this in a certain way, and then it just drops in and clips in. Now, as I said before, if you want to disassemble this, get yourself some plastic little like screwdrivers, and you go in the top here and you stretch them out, and that'll pop open those little latches around the edge. So the last little thing that I forgot about, and that's why this wasn't latching, I'm trying to work out why it's not latching. I forgot that I had taken this out. This is a normal maintenance procedure. So what you got, a little plastic thing here that goes in here, can only go one way. Push that in, and then this, it's got a little tab, and that's it. Now that locks. The all-important bowl. So you make sure it goes in. I'm going to do a steaming. So for this test, I'm just going to put one little container of water in. Close the lid. I'm not going to actually cook anything. Push the steam button. It seems to be working. So there we go. I think what we'll do, we'll let it run for the 10 minutes, and we'll come back and I'll open it, and just to make sure it really is working. That's working brilliantly. I will show you when it's finished. It's got another 9 or 8 minutes to go. But let this be a lesson. Never ever put water and product or food into the main housing. Make sure the bowl is always there. Big lesson. It'll never happen in this household again. Okay, it's just gone off. So it's actually gone on the warming mode, which that's the way it's supposed to function. Whenever, whatever you're doing, you're steaming rice or quinoa or steaming anything, when it finishes, the warming function comes on. So that's important. Yep, it's working. There's just literally nothing coming out the bottom. So what we'll do, we'll turn the off button, and then we'll open it up. And sure enough, exactly as it should be. Look at that. I'm really, really happy. So there you go. If you encounter this problem, that's how you fix it. Now, I'm sorry about the fact that the disassembly process, I didn't actually show you from the start, but I think by watching it, you'll see how when we put it back together, how it goes together. But briefly, undo the 4 screws on the base. Don't even bother trying to separate it here. Get some plastic levers, and you go in around the side here, and on 4 positions there are little clips, and what you can do, you can stretch, because it's metallic, you can stretch it and it comes over the clip, and this will pop up. And once you've got that, the whole thing just lifts out. And then you've got the cabling, as you saw, and what you basically have to do, because it is a bit of a pain, turn it on its side and disconnect the cabling. Remember, really remember, this is important, to take pictures or take notes of exactly where the connections are. And as you just saw, I was able to, this was many days later, and I was able to put it together. Now, that brings me to another thing. The reason why it was a couple of days later, it's very important that you clean it, get it completely cleaned out, but then allow it to dry for at least 48 hours before you reassemble. And I think that makes sense. And as a result, trying to remember where cables go, you know, you've got enough to remember during the day. So I would strongly suggest take pictures or take notes. Anyway, there you go. I hope you find this video helpful. I actually hope you don't have to find this video helpful, because it means that you've done something like what we've done. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.